time. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the panel Building Markets and Communities as Tools for Artists and Collectors. My name is Theo Goodman and I'll be moderating. We are joined by Jennifer Senhaji from the Maker Foundation. We are also joined by JJ Laxton from Ephirma, Alex Selenikov from Rareable, and John Crane from Super Rare. I apologize if I've messed up anyone's name. Please bear with me. I'm doing my best. And we're going to get right into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each of you a question that I've made specifically for you and your platform. And then after that, I'll have some more general discussion ones where we can bounce off each other as a discussion. So let's see. JJ, I have a question for you today. Ephirma is also one of the sponsors, and maybe some of the people watching have checked out the platform. It's new, and it not only allows for artists to tokenize their work, but it also targets art galleries. And I was wondering, it's a question that comes up a lot for platforms. How is Ephirma not going to repeat and reflect the same power structures that we've seen in the legacy art world, since you're also targeting galleries such as gatekeeping, high commission gouging, and other predatory tactics by art galleries? How is Ephirma going to attack that while also targeting galleries?
Sure, thanks. So Ephimera, we are brand new. We're actually launching, I think, officially today. I think one of the interesting aspects of our platform is we do allow for galleries to tokenize on behalf of artists. So galleries, we use the word galleries because it's a word that is well known in the art space, but really it doesn't have to be a physical gallery or an organization or anything like that. It can be a crypto collective. It could be a single curator. It could be really anyone who thinks that they have that kind of curatorial ability when it comes to crypto art. And so the nice thing about having galleries on the blockchain and as a part of the smart contract is that it really gives a little bit of transparency into the relationship between the artist and the gallery. So what does the gallery provide for an artist? Well, it provides some things like provenance. If an art sells at Sotheby's or it sells at your local gallery down the street, there's clearly a different type of expectation on the value of that art, and it reflects well on the artist and the art and how that art sells again in the future. But something that a lot of people don't know is that the relationship between galleries and artists in the real world is quite opaque. A lot of these galleries sign very strict contracts with their artists about how frequently artists can tokenize, what rights the artists have to certain works. Artists can't show their works unless it's through the gallery. And especially when it comes to the economics of that relationship, most galleries standard will charge 50% of the sale price of the art. And so we're not here to take we don't have an opinion on what galleries should charge for their services, but we do think that there should be a way for artists and galleries to participate in a way that's transparent and open for everyone else, so that other people can see, exactly what that relationship is. And that other galleries can come if they feel that they provide just as good of a service as someone like Sotheby's does, but they can do it at a better price point, something that's a little bit more honest to the artist, then they can do that.
Okay, cool. So it's more transparent, and it's not necessarily an art gallery as we know today. It could be me or someone else that wants to mint things for other artists, and I can make an account at the
Yeah, just like how the artist is their value that they're offering is they're creating great art. We think that there is value in the curation process, and that we're trying to build a product around that.
Okay, great. Jennifer, I want to ask you, so why should, you're from the Maker Foundation that is that has the stablecoin DAI. And for people that are not from the crypto world or something, if you're tuning in, DAI is a stable coin. It's always worth $1. So it's kind of, you can use it the same way you use Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it's always worth $1. In a crypto bull market where things seem to be going up, what do you think are some of the advantages of using DAI? And yeah, why should artists be interested in using DAI in general?
Yeah. So looking at the tools that are emerging with NFT platforms like Ephemera and Super Rare and Rareable, these are new technologies that allow both the artists and collectors to discover and distribute works, which is a real innovation on what JJ was just kind of describing in the traditional art world, which is actually where I started my career. I worked at Art News magazine, which is one of the oldest art publications, I think, around and still in circulation. It's very similar to Art in America, catering to the same audience and artists. So, I spent a lot of my early days walking around Chelsea in New York City, which is where most of the higher end galleries representing these established artists and, with much higher price tags, were doing openings in addition to the Upper East Side. So looking at like Gagosian Gallery, which is like, always one of the big ones that have the best artists represented. At that time, most of the emerging galleries and artists were downtown in Soho, which now everybody knows is a great neighborhood. But at the time, like if you couldn't afford the gallery space in Chelsea or uptown, like you started out way downtown. So, right now, the way blockchain technology is kind of coming into this particular space, I think it's really interesting from a discovery and distribution standpoint. And where DAI fits into this is just another tool. And that tool is a digital asset that kind of powers these transactions. Very simply, for anybody, whether you're purchasing art, you're purchasing a cup of coffee, you're purchasing a car, you want to know that as the buyer, what the actual fixed amount is, and that you're willing to agree to that and to spend that amount. As the recipient, as the seller, you want to agree to those same fixed terms. So, what DAI provides is this stability within using digital assets to make sure that at any given point, both the buyer or the artist feels good and can rely on this price that has initially been set to at least stay there. Now, if that work of art or NFT appreciates because of demand, that's fine. But the actual denomination of that unit, everybody universally understands and can agree to at the starting point. So I think that's really, when we talk about how DAI plays a role, it's really a tool for making sure people understand what they're transacting in. And then kind of taking it a step farther, I mean, that's the beginning point, but as people in the crypto world knows, DAI is really instrumental in decentralized finance. And so DAI lives across over 800 different applications, crypto exchanges, wallets, all the infrastructure, financial apps that allow anybody anywhere in the world to lend, borrow, save, earn interest. So from the simple point of understanding that what I'm transacting in is pegged to the US dollar, that is going to stay constant. If I receive DAI as an artist, then I actually have a lot more options to do stuff with my money that may not exist if I'm accepting pesos or even the US dollar fiat currency. So there is this second world that DAI actually has extensions to, which is really exciting. But I think at this beginning point where we're kind of bringing in new people that may not be crypto native, just understanding this is a universal digital dollar. And if you use it, the price is going to be stable.
Yeah, that's definitely a point. Yeah, it could be really attractive to new people because then they don't have to understand if it cost zero point 0.1 Ethereum, they could understand maybe it cost 100 DAI or something like that. So that could definitely be something for beginners. Or maybe that, artists don't want to speculate. Maybe they have enough to worry about. Yeah,
Yeah,
it could be.
I mean, and the people, there is a lot of people, mostly ETH, in the Ethereum community, and people that have been crypto native in kind of buying NFTs, that part of the reason they like to transact in ETH is because, when they trade an item and receive ETH for it, that ETH becomes as speculative as that NFT. So you're kind of, if your interest is like, well, I expect this NFT to possibly go up and then I could trade it again, that's one aspect. But then if you're actually receiving ETH for one trade, you might, you potentially could get more ETH if the price of ETH goes up. So there are people that find that valuable and want to transact in ETH for that very reason. But universally, I think it's just a very common instinct and desire for items of transaction to be priced in something that is stable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, buying NFTs and trying to sell them for a higher price is already highly speculative. And then if you're doing it in Ethereum or Bitcoin or another or something like that, then that's kind of speculating while you're speculating. So it's kind of a double. Whereas if you could gamble while you're gambling, or you could just gamble a little bit less and then have maybe a stable coin integrated. So I think that's a cool tool. Okay, we're gonna go over to John over there, Super Rare. So I have a question for you. Super Rare is a curated platform that you have to apply to be a part of. How does Super Rare balance curation with community feedback in order not to reproduce a kind of authoritarian walled garden?
Yeah, so I mean, I think a big part of it is just being super active. So, like a huge, we have Super Rare the website, but a big part of kind of the Super Rare ethos and where a lot of Super Rare things happen is in the Discord. And it's just a super kind of continuous feedback loop. And then we also kind of have community, so like voting tools for what the roadmap and things are going to look like. But that said, it is a difficult balance. It's kind of tough. You want to sort of like maintain quality, but quality is subjective, and there's a lot. Obviously, lots of different curatorial voices, and people have kind of a wide range of opinions. So yeah, I don't know. There's no like real answer other than you kind of just have to balance talking with folks. I feel like it's kind of easy, especially with tools like Twitter. It's like it's easy to forget that you're just dealing with people. And so like connecting with people, understanding how they feel about things, making sure they feel heard. But really it's, trying to keep the dialogue open and flowing.
Okay, good. So if we want to talk to you, then the best way would be in the Discord. I mean, I wrote in one of my articles that where there is curation, there is butthurt. Because you see a lot of butthurt or complaining. I mean, it's just true, because there's a lot of, you see like on Twitter, although I have seen someone say, hey, I got on Super Rare, I'm really happy. But I've seen a lot of, I'm kicked off, I didn't get accepted. Why did that other person get accepted? Or something pretty much like butthurt in general about the curation process in general. But could you tell us, are there also positive things? Do you get like high fives, or are you just like bombarded by negativity a lot because of the curation process?
No, I'd say, I mean, I don't think it's fair to say you've seen a lot of people getting kicked off. There's probably like, 2 instances of this. But yeah, I mean, you're right, curation's challenging. You can't really make everybody happy. And so we've kind of decided that, for us in the community, it makes sense to keep going with curation like this. I think we're trying to build tools that support, a wider body of curatorial voices, support more people on the platform. But it's a challenging thing to do. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Generally, there's also a ton of positivity. I think, crypto Twitter loves to be dramatic. People love to yell about things on Twitter. And that's not really unique to art or, the crypto space. I think that's kind of across the board.
That is true. That's true. Okay, Alex, you're from Rarible, and Rarible is, champions itself as an open platform without strong curation. So it's a little different. And I wanted to know what steps is Rarible taking to protect buyers from what I call fake rares, so copy NFTs. So if someone copied one of my NFTs that might be from superrare.co/Theo Goodman, if they were to copy one of mine from SuperRare and put it on Rarible, like what kind of mechanisms are there to try to prevent that? And just trying to, since it is an open platform, what kind of mechanisms are there to kind of prevent scams? And also, if I'm an artist, like what if I don't want to have my art next to like a cam girl NFT or something like that? So, what kind of mechanisms are you guys, working on to kind of deal with this kind of part of having an open platform?
Yep. So Rarible started as a completely open platform, as you said it. Initially, it's just everyone. So our big goal is to be completely decentralized and to take all the steps to prevent any wrongdoings on the protocol level. That's why it's a little bit harder, but long term, I think that's a better strategy. So initially, we were completely open. Then we introduced verified badge, just to protect buyers better. That was done in response to the community. And right now, it all comes down basically to be cautious what you're buying of. So basically, people come to the platform, they quickly search for an item. They see an awesome item that was expensive and that's being sold for less money now. And they grab it instantly because of the FOMO. Actually, if you look at the verified badge, if you look at the number of followers, if you look at who this person is being followed, it's just like on Twitter. Like everybody can be impersonated on Twitter, but there are social signals to prevent that. Or some accounts try to fake the verified badge by placing it on the avatar, and that's just so simple. And people don't look even at this. So obviously, it's not that I'm trying to blame somebody here. We as a platform are responsible for protecting our buyers, and the first advice that I tell everybody, just to be cautious, just make another thought and check what's on the profile, and you'll be protected almost always. And in Rarible inside, we prepare better tools. We started with short-term improvements on processes internal, giving the verification badge and support teams. We just hired a community manager. We hired 2 more engineers. Things are about to speed up at Rarible. We are preparing the community verification. I told about this on the community call recently. So Rare holders that committed to support the platform will be able to give community badges to artists in quite foreseeable future. And also some automatic tools like verifying your identity, while just technical means are about to come. So prepare your social networks, prepare all your websites. And the second part of the question was about, I'd say, being under one roof for everybody. That's a pain point for people, especially like high-profile ones. And we are developing tools to make that better. Basically, that would bring some separation. Right now, the platform is completely flat in terms of how do items appear on the marketplace. And well, that pays off. That gives a lot of people great visibility. If you're just a starting artist, you can hop in on Rarible, create your item in 30 minutes and 30 seconds, and place it on the marketplace, and it will be shown to all the thousands of users that come to the Rarible main page. But eventually we will divide that. We already introduced categories, and not safe for work category is another category now. You won't see it on the front page anymore. So that's been done already. And I think like just to see the art from the guys that you follow is the next step to separate this more and to bring communities close. Well, we have much more ideas on how to build these interconnected communities, but with keeping the uniqueness of each one. So if you have a social token, so also be tuned. We will got something for you too.
Okay, great. Yeah, that makes sense. So I think that I'm going to tie in some of what you said to the next question, which will be for everybody, so everyone can comment on it. Is that Rarible, like you said, everyone's under one roof. So as I see it, one advantage of that is that it brings a lot of people. So it brings a lot of traffic and different people, whereas maybe Super Rare, it's more curated, or Ephemera you have to sign up to, I think, right? It's more specifically for art and not necessarily for some other things. And maybe Jen, I would start with you. I think that we have in our community now an abundance of creators. We have a lot of artists. We have a lot of NFTs being produced. And we have not such the same abundance of buyers, collectors, speculators, anyone that just buy on the buy side. We still need to catch up on that side. Jen, what do you think is something that the platforms or just people in general could do to increase the interest on that side?
I think, yeah, so, in our space in crypto, we were moving so quickly and everything changes from week to week, and a product or protocol could ship so much quicker than in the real world, in the real traditional world. So, I always try to go back to the basics of, okay, we're not just building and catering to people that are knowledgeable about digital assets and blockchain technology. So let's take a step back and think about how a newcomer would arrive at this new technology. And I think you have to keep a lot of experiences, the positive experiences and experiences that are what makes traditional platforms successful, and bring those to, at least some format of what we're doing, here with these newer technologies. So providing experiences, going back to DAI, everybody understands what $1 is. Okay, so now I'm transacting with this digital dollar called DAI. Great, got it. I like art, I like photography. I'm going to go to Ephemera and I'm going to be able to, search and discover different types of photography that is appealing to me. And then what hopefully I can do is find out information on the artist. So there's some type of, substance and knowledge about what I'm buying, right? These are just all basic things any consumer really looks for when making a purchase, especially with art. So I think it's just important to kind of bring experiences that are familiar to each vertical into the new tools and platforms, but then, be able to really leverage what those new tools and platforms allow, which is, more direct access to artists, being able to canvas all, artists that you may not have been able to find through the existing traditional platforms, being able to transact in seconds as opposed to days, all of those enhancements that NFTs and, crypto brings is really going to be that, like, wow, this is really cool. And I think that's what will make people stay once they arrive. But once they arrive, I think, making it familiar enough where it's not like, I have no idea what this platform does. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know how I'm transacting. You don't want to turn people away first glance. So to answer your question, I think it's about building with experiences people feel comfortable with, and then bringing them towards the real value that we know and love about crypto and digital NFTs and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you kind of have to hold people's hand as far as like this is such a new experience still for a lot of people when it involves crypto. John, you Super Rare has been around for a while. How long now?
Going on 3 years.
3 years. Okay, so what things? I mean, okay, well, how have you guys? You've done over 3 years, substantial volume. I forgot you did some kind of announcement like so and such a many total sales. So, what kind of things have you guys changed over the years to get more buyers?
Well, I think a big part of it is just kind of like raising awareness and like storytelling. Generally, right, even with Bitcoin, right, it's like not that much has changed. It's just like kind of retelling the story and like certain things resonate with certain people. And so it's kind of just continuing to redescribe, change the narrative, see what sticks. And so I don't know, early this year we launched our editorial. I think that's been pretty successful and kind of just like bringing people in, maybe using less crypto language and more language that folks who are more from the arts are familiar with. And so, I'm not sure, it's not like, like credit card payments and things like that are nice, but it's not the only thing, right? You sort of want to understand how digital assets work. That's part of what's exciting about, NFT based art. And so I don't know that there's a way around it where it doesn't involve educating the person as to like, here's what an NFT is. This is why this is different than, what we had before. So yeah, I guess just like kind of continuing to iterate on the storytelling, producing sort of like, new and interesting types of content that, maybe pique people's interest, right? Like if you have a VR exhibition, that draws somebody in and then they start getting curious and learning. So I still think education is probably one of the best tools.
Okay, cool. Alex, how do we get more buyers?
Well, we bring more people with money. I think that's what we did when we introduced the token and then the big launch with Y Insurance. The DeFi guys poured to the marketplace and bought a lot of stuff from great artists. Yeah, that's one thing. And another one is, I don't know, we want to work on the display side. When you have rights to something, you need some means to realize those rights. So there gotta be a second layer of usage of all these NFTs. For example, pay-per-view, or just a subscription-based model for being on the marketplace to scroll or like, yeah. So the second layer of this. So like the one person holds rights to something and another person consumes those rights. Yeah, that's the second key. Yeah, but I think the first one is bigger.
Okay, and JJ, what do you think? How do we get more buyers?
I think that there's really two sides. One is, why are people buying art? People buying art either because they love it or because they think it's a good investment. They're gonna make money off of it. And the reasons why people kind of that impulse to buy, whether it's on the I love it or I'm going to invest in it. On the I love it side, those people are going to come from what Alex said. It's going to come from the display. And, how are the more art that gets in front of people's eyes, the more likely they're going to feel compelled to have it. I mean, we've seen this in every single product category. The more hype there is around something, the more somebody wants it. The other side is, I think that, crypto more broadly is really in this kind of crossing the chasm moment where we're all early adopters, but how do we really move towards that, my mom and dad buying art, right? And feeling comfortable transacting in ETH. And I think that there's a whole industry out there that's yet to be created. You think about how high net worth individuals transact in art today. There's an entire network of custodians, of managers, of people who have fiduciary responsibilities towards these people. How do we replicate that in code? How do we let people feel comfortable purchasing $1 million asset and not worry in the back of their mind, hey, what if I lose that little card I wrote my seed phrase on with my ledger? You know, I think that that's that mass adoption phase for all of us isn't going to come until we solve some of those. Now, clearly, you know, we think that part of that is, okay, if people see, you know, like with the galleries, to go back to that, you know, adding provenance, okay, this person is, you know, has vouched for an artist or vouched for a type of art. Maybe I'll jump in. So there's this kind of, we're never going to get away from that interaction, that human network side of it. But how do we make that in a way where it's still decentralized, and where there's still no barriers to entry, where, you know, we're not in a world where the only people buying $1 million pieces of art are people who happen to be at the right banks. So we're kind of lucky in the way that we just launched. We don't have really a kind of collector base in the way that SuperRare does or Rarible does or some of these other platforms. So these are the questions that we're kind of racking our brain with today. But other than, you know, clearly working on marketing and storytelling and, you know, building up our artist community and, you know, our collector community with one-on-ones and events and things like that more broadly, there's still real kind of infrastructure level changes that need to happen. And, you know, we have some ideas that we're coming up with down the pipeline that we're really excited about. And I think that that's what really needs to happen for this collector, you know, base to grow significantly and turn into mass adoption.
Okay, great. I want to thank everyone for being on this panel. We're getting to the end times of this panel, and that is the time where we do force prediction. So I want to know, I do not think, as far as I know, there has not been a $1 million NFT sale. When will the $1 million NFT sale take place? The more specific of your prediction, the more bragging rights you get when you're correct. John, when is it going to happen?
March 22nd, 4 p.m., 2021.
Okay, Alex, when is the $1 million NFT sale going to happen?
I think in a year from now. Yeah, because right now we'll have some slowdown on the market. The excitement wave just got on, and then we'll see the big guys come with a preparation. So it's gonna take some time.
Mm-hmm. Jen, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm more of like a year out. I think once there's a lot of there's already a lot of momentum, but once some of the bigger artists start to come into the space that are already yielding high ticket prices, and then they start working with these formats, I think then it'll be a little bit easier to get there. But so I'm saying about a year.
JJ.
I'm going to split the difference and say Q3 2021.
Okay, so we have a decent consensus in a year around things are really going to blow up. So anyone watching, you might want to get in now, and maybe in the meantime, the platforms would have changed a lot. I think so, because the user experience might change. Other things might make it easier for users to take part. We have 2 minutes. I think that so we've got SuperRare. Best way to get in contact with your community is Discord. Rarible, I think you have a Discord too, right? That's the best way, or Telegram do you prefer?
We prefer Discord too.
Okay. JJ, how about you? What's the best way to get in contact with you and your community that you're building right now?
Yeah, just like I think every crypto community now, Discord is definitely the way to go. Find it at the bottom of our homepage.
And Jen, if we want to talk to you or Maker Foundation or get, if an artist has a question about DAI, what's the best place to go about doing that?
I would say Twitter. You could catch all our updates across partner integrations, anything taking place. If you wanted to go really granular into the kind of the DAO and DeFi aspect of it, you could join our forum, our Maker forum. But I would say for high level updates, just follow Twitter.
Okay, great. And I'm Theo Goodman. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can check me out in the Art Project Telegram. You can find a link on artproject.io, or you can just search Telegram for art project Decentralized. I want to thank everyone again, and I want to give a big shout out to Jessica Angel for helping to organize this, and I will see everyone soon. Thank you.